Welcome to the BBC.
To another episode of the BBC podcast, the big black, we mean between both cheeks. Yes, we mean those cheeks too. We have a guest here with us today, and she's laughing at that. I don't think she knew that was our tagline.
Definitely did not. I'm
A
not
warm
gonna lie.
welcome.
Perfect. I love
Yes,
that. I love the
so
energy.
good. So good. So we're here today with Eric, and our special guest is Erica, who you may know from
The Peach Bar Waxing Center.
yes,
My pure
Absolutely,
baby.
you guys know who she is, the queen of social media.
Stop.
True.
That makes me so I blush so much when people say that because I'm just like, I'm all for it. Like I started posting videos because I just want everyone to learn and like grow together. And then it just blew up, man. It blew
Yeah,
up.
and even before the pandemic.
Yeah, you were doing videos before videos was like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were doing videos well, like edited beautifully, recorded on a real camera, scripted. Sometimes you had songs written about waxing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, go
Yes,
back
and
to
now
the
people use it
archive.
as their sound on Reels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good in the beginning. I mean, we had like a strong, solid team in the beginning where these girls were like I think these girls were actors before they were waxers. And we had like a dynamic that these girls were all together and for it and wanted to do funny skits. But then the pandemic happened and it just went, just crashed and burned after the pandemic.
Oh no.
Well, key word that you said there that I want to talk about today is you had a solid team. Now, I've reached out. I mean, first of all, thank you for being on this podcast because I've wanted you on this podcast for like 2 years.
Stop, really?
Yeah. If you go back and look through all your messages, I was like asking you, and then now finally we got you. So
it's so funny because I had someone running my social media and I just took over after I want to say like 3 months after COVID. I finally took over myself and was like, there were so many messages from people that they weren't bringing to my attention or they were leaving them on red. And I'm like, you can't, like, that's why like I fell so hard because I'm like, you guys weren't here for me. You were here for yourselves. And that's what kind of got to me.
Yeah. So I recently saw one of your posts and it was very vulnerable, very out there, very honest, which I love because at Bright, we always say, we'll show you the good, the bad, the ugly. Like there's no hiding anything on what we're doing or what we're going through. And your post was about a staff member that kind of did you dirty.
Yeah. And it's continually doing me dirty.
So I'd love to have, as much as you're comfortable, to have, an open conversation about this because I think a lot of people that want to be in business don't see this part because a lot of people don't share this part. And as an entrepreneur in a small business and as the business owner, we don't have a lot of outlets to talk to people about this. And there's a lot of blame that gets put on yourself. On am I a good boss? Am I the problem? Am I causing these people to act out like this or leave or whatever the case is? So I'd love to have a conversation about that to tell the world.
So I struggled a long time with deciding to post that video just because I knew the backlash that I was going to get from it. There's so many women out there like, you shouldn't post that. Like, you're not being professional, but this is a platform for all of us to learn. And business owners and people getting into it will learn from this story. So what took me by surprise is that I hired this woman and we were cool. Like I went to her house, had dinner with her, played hide and seek with her daughter, bought her daughter gifts. She was going to come to Florida like as a vacation for her and her daughter. So I thought we were okay, right? So in my mind, I'm like, me and this girl are cool. I was at her house and I witnessed her daughter have like emotional breakdown. She's 2 years old. Like those terrible twos will get to you. I have a nephew. I understand when they break down, there's no calming them down. So she had no call, no show back in March. And I was like, no, like I get it. Her daughter, like I know what it's like at 2 o'clock in the morning to deal with her daughter. So let's just slap on the wrist, let it go. But my manager, Jesse, wrote her up and said, if this happens again, we will have to suspend you, just because she is our lead waxer and our trainee. So if I'm not reprimanding you, all these girls underneath you are going to do whatever they want to do, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So now 3 to 6 months after, it happened again. And to me, in a corporate role, a no call, no show is if you're supposed to start at 8:30 in the morning and you don't reach out by 9 o'clock, that's a no call, no show. Yeah, you reached out at 11:30, and to you, that's not a no call, no show. But to me, that's a no call, no show. If you didn't reach out to me by 11:30, we had to clear your books. We didn't know if you were dead or in the hospital or something. So she had reached out to the manager and was like, okay, I'm on my way. And the manager's like, no. We cleared your books, and as your write-up states, you're suspended for a week. She was not happy about that. So her key word to the manager was, I don't know what I'm going to do for money. Once the manager relayed that to me, I said, block her books now. Something's not right. I know, coming from waxers, like when we use that word, and I'm a waxer, I'm not saying I'm the perfect. I worked at European, I worked for another business. When you hear that word, you know something's up. The manager left her. She was like, no, Erica, trust me. And I said, okay. We did a Zoom call with all my waxers. She wasn't on, and I'm like, that's not right. Once the Zoom call ended, I started getting tons and tons of text messages from loyal clients. I mean, one of the clients that she messaged was like basically my best friend who did my hair for my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you think she would send me that? And she said it, but in the message, she wasn't truthful. She was just like, hey, this is such and such from the waxing center. I won't be returning. They suspend me without pay. I have a child. I live off the state. How could they do this to me? I'm only 7 minutes from the facility. Same price, same wax. You're not going out of your way. Come to my house, kind of thing. And then I was like, okay, like, let it go. Like, that happened, let it go. But now she's calling customers and like, oh, if you're waxing with such and such, she doesn't have a license. So she's hiring people without license. She's reaching out to the state. She even reached out to past employees, and now are trying to do videos on past employees. But I was like, but what did I do to you? Like, my whole thing is like, what did I do to you? You know what I mean? Like, what did I personally do to you? When it's just business, it's not personal, it's business. Recently I was in Jersey last week, and one of my receptionists had reached out to her and was like, let me get the tea. Like, I just want to get the tea. Like, I'm like, okay, do you? Be a spy. I don't care. Whatever. She recorded the conversation with her without me knowing. And the problem actually wasn't with me. Her problem the whole time at the Peach Bar was my manager, and how my manager had off Fridays and Saturdays, and she did not think it was fair. That was the whole issue, supposedly. I'm like, so you're trying to tear down my business and report to the state board, all because of a manager's schedule. And that was like the whole team. That was the whole drama. Because she didn't like that the manager was off.
But how does the manager having off Friday and Saturday lead to her having no shows and poorly talking to you about your business, coaching your clients, trying to throw you in the butt, like serious violations when it comes to like state board?
Yeah. Exactly.
That
and
seems like a really far-fetched way to be upset about someone.
And that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm like, and like, I want to have a conversation with her, but I just think like there's no having conversations with crazy. At this point, it's like a state of like, what did I do to you? Because if you are so unhappy with the business, I understand a no call, no show, separate ties. Like, I get it. But for you to reach out to customers and reach out to employees and the state, at what point happened? Like, what happened and what went wrong? Because when you talk to everyone, if I was such a bad person or such a bad boss, why would you allow me around your child? Why would we sit down and have dinners together? Like, literally, I'm in your house on your sofa watching The Last of Us, like having a whole marathon together. What went wrong? And when you talk to everyone that she has talking to, was it me? It was not me. It was her and the manager. And I'm like, but then tear down the manager. Like, don't try to tear down like 7 years of what I worked for.
But why? Or just have a confused. Yeah.
Have a conversation and move on. Like, that's the part that you will never make any sense of. And if it makes you feel any better, Erica, I went through this so many times, many times. Becca's shaking her head like, yeah. And I mean, that the hardest part is the drama that they cause for the clients, because then you have to go back and explain to the clients like, oh no, this person isn't here, and then you're giving information that the clients don't need to know, like she didn't show up for work, and like it just causes even more drama. The state board stuff like that fucks up your business when they're coming in and checking. I mean, I had someone, she was a manager for 5 years. Everything was great, and she gave 2 weeks notice. I was like, sorry to see you go, like, want to support you in your future endeavors and whatever that is. Came to work, everything was fine. Didn't show up for her last shift, and then all of a sudden I was getting text messages and emails and phone calls from clients being like, I want to take the 39 Brazilian offer that Carla is offering. And I'm like, Carla's no longer with us. Well, no, I got a text message and an email. Oh, can you forward that to me? Because like we didn't send it out. Same thing. She had taken the entire database, opened up shop with my client base. And then because that just happens. Like, it's shitty. It happens when you run a small business and people are running front and back of store, or if manager has access to it's going to happen. I'm sorry if someone's thinking about, having a business and thinking it'll never happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
And all you can do, right, is just really focus on everything that you do in the store, make it great, make the experience wonderful, and hope that they're not going to go in, a back of a room somewhere in a hair salon or someone's home.
And you know what the crazy part is, like, you could sit here and it's easier said than done, right? Because when it happens, and it constantly happens, like it's like a repeating cycle. At some point, like, that messes with you mentally to the point where I was like, I took a whole step back. Like, it got to the point where I didn't even speak to the girls. I went directly to my manager and was like, you relay the message, because I can't keep building these relationships and putting time and energy into people that are just like, they're sucking the life and fun out of waxing. Like, I'm like, it used to be so fun. You came in and we had dinners and went to Tulum and Mexico and this all together, and then they just tear you down to the point you're like, I don't want to do anything. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Like, just work for me and that's it. But then that sets up a toxic environment because it's not friendly. No one wants to talk to each other. And then it's just a trickle effect. And now it's just like picking up the pieces and cleaning it. That is so hard. It's so hard.
And then, of course, the people that, they want that relationship with you, they no longer have it, and they're being punished because of someone else that's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's like, where do you find the balance, and where do you find that line?
I think it's because a lot of women don't know how to separate the two lines. Like, I give men credit because I feel like men know how to separate. Like, they can yell at each other and the next day they're like, okay, let's go watch a baseball game together. Like, let's go. But women, like, they don't know that line. It's like you go out to dinner with them and the next day they call out and you have to reprimand them. It's like, but we just had dinner together. Like, what do you mean? You're like, but there's a line, ma'am. Like, there's business and then there's personal. Like, I could be your best friend. You could come sleep in my house and go in the pool and do whatever you want. But in these four walls, I kind of got to reprimand you. I got to set a tone for the rest.
So how are things now? Have they died down? Everything is...
No, we're still dealing with it because so I'm in Florida and then I have a location in New Jersey. So this happened in my New Jersey location. I was waxing last week, and one of my waxers, she's new, she just finished school, so she has her temporary, doesn't have her license, but you can work with a temporary. She called me hysterical, and I'm like, what, like, I'm waxing, give me 5 seconds. She was like, and she's calling me, she's like, okay, but this is what happened. So now you're reading it on a watch, you're trying to wax. I'm like, give me 5 seconds. I call her and she's like, I had a client come in, she's saying that such and such told her I don't have a license. They're asking all these questions. What do I do? Is the state coming in? Am I okay to wax? I thought I was okay to wax. So now you're freaking out my staff. For what? For what? When these were your coworkers. And I'm like, it makes no sense to me because the girl's licensed. She's not licensed. She does have her temporary. And you could Google that online. But I'm like, what? Why? to wax them out of your house, I don't get it. How many people can you take in your house?
Well, and why are you trying to sabotage someone else? I'm all about, like, if this is not the right fit, if this is not working, go do you, right? Open up your own place, do whatever. But also, like, I've always come from a place of like, do it on your own, not on my back. I worked very hard to build up my clientele, to provide the training, to provide the supplies, the fun, safe work environment. Like, if you want to do it, I will hold your hand and I will help you, but don't do it off my back.
That's what I tell them. I tell them, like, even when I do the interviews, I'm like, if you want to ever open up your own place, this is the place to do it. We show you social media. We show you what it's like to manage waxing. We show you how it is to run day-to-day inventory, this, that. So if you want to open up your own place, this is the place to do it, which I have no problem. But stick to the guidelines and do it the right way. You know, don't steal, don't poach, don't hack into systems to steal everyone's information. But then when you talk to people, it was like, well, she had this plan. And then it makes you look at your staff, but like, why didn't you tell me she had this plan?
You know, I truly believe that, like a lot of service professionals, you know, when they're on the service end of it, or if they're new, or they've always been on the service end of it, they have like a skewed version of, like where the money goes and what it's, you know, it's not just income, right? They only understand the service portion of it. They don't understand the business side of it. And if they do by chance understand both well, they're usually the manager or the owner. So they decide, you know, they see all this money, you know, all the service, you know, revenue coming in. They don't realize where it goes. So you said something about being unprofessional. So when they leave and they're like, I'm going to do it on my own, like this woman in her house, right? People tell you, don't post this. This is unprofessional. And then you get all this backlash. But what they're doing is so unprofessional and dragging you under the bus. Why is it okay to be so one-sided?
Because she's a mom and we are going against a mom. That's that's what it comes down to.
She's a person. She's more than a mom. She's a person, and her as an individual, it's fucked up.
That's what I
me
said.
personally, fuck it.
Tell
everybody.
They come right for you.
I'm like, right there.
I legit, on that video, there were so many women who were like, yes, finally, like, this has happened to me. Speak about it. Love it. Like, let's do this together. And then I had to turn off the comments because people were like, well, you're rude. Well, why would you do this? Like, why are you talking about her? I don't know. Really? Because I need it out. Like, I need to let it out. I need to not talk to the same people about it and have other people be like, you're not crazy. Yeah. This has happened so many times and it's so unprofessional. How can we end this?
Yeah.
So to them, it's just like, oh, well, you have your own money. You own a business. Like, you're so well off. Like, you don't even care. But I do care, because what you don't understand is that one person bringing in income sets the tone for the rest. Because if you have to cancel 25 people a day for 5 days, that adds up. And not only, she doesn't have to deal with the reprimand. It's the business and the employees who have to deal, because now you have my receptionist getting screamed at, like, why can't I get my appointment? That's not my problem. You have other people reaching out like, how safe is your system that they're hacking in and they're getting all my information? I don't even want to give you my information now. Can I just show up for the appointment? And you're like, ma'am, that's just not the way it works. Like, I'm sorry. She logged in. She was, you know, a trainer, so she had access to the books to like schedule blocks and stuff. I did not know she was screenshotting all your information. I didn't know that. And they just people just don't understand.
Becca, you're doing a lot of
what? With that, Erica, like the client's opinions, because I was a receptionist at Luba's Wax Salon for years, and I was in those same positions getting screamed at. If somebody wants to poach clients and steal someone's information, they will find a way. You could have them totally blocked out of the system where they don't have any access, and they will still find a way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when somebody gives their phone number or their first and last name when they arrive for their appointment, they could just write it down. You know, like, you can't safeguard every single thing. You're just trusting that the people you have hired are good people and that you share the same values that you operate your business under. And clients just like, I don't know, they just don't understand. And I got so sad when you said that you feel like you're alone in this and that, you just wanted to hear from other people that you're not crazy. Because
Yeah.
the first thing that I said when I saw that video to Luba was, oh my God, it's not just us. Erica is on the other side of the country on the East Coast, and the same shit is happening to her. Like verbatim, we could have said the same story. And
Yeah.
it sucks, but it's also like, if you never posted that, Luba has had the conversation so many times with herself, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing
Mm-hmm.
wrong? What is it about me? And then you sharing that,
Yeah.
imagine how many people you did affect positively, not just the
Yeah,
haters.
Yeah.
that's the other side of it, like you look at it and you're like, damn, people are on my side. Like, I'm not going through it. I'm not crazy. I'm not a bad person. Like, because they, like, when they tear you down, these girls are ruthless. And you
Yeah.
have, like, I call them like trolls. You have those Instagram trolls that never been to you,
Mm-hmm.
never like met
Yeah.
you, and people swear they know your life. Well, I know everything about you. What do you know about me?
Yeah.
What do you know? Because you
Do
don't
you
know my
have a
husband's
business?
name. Yeah, like, and I see it from all aspects because my husband, he owns his own restaurant here in Florida. And even him, like, when it comes to like the kitchen, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not crazy. It's even in the kitchen. It's like cooking food and
Yeah.
they're stealing recipes. It's like, oh, like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. I commend you for your honesty. I think that you've helped so many people that probably won't reach out or won't, post a message or anything, but know, like, when they go to bed that night, that I'm not alone in this. I'm not crazy. This unfortunately is a big part of being a business owner in this industry. I don't know where it comes from. I just know that there's a special place in hell for women that don't support women. And that karma is a bitch and it takes her a little while to do her work. But when it happens, it happens. And Erica, no matter what, this person will never be as successful as you. If this is the way that she needs to go about her business, she will never have what you have or what you've built, because it just, that's not the energy that it takes to build something of substance.
I know people think it's easy, and owning a business, like, people ask me all the time, how come you don't have kids? This is my kid. I said, if I had a kid, and that's like something like people don't know, like owning a business and having children is so hard
Yeah.
because like, I have two different businesses in two different locations. I fly monthly to Jersey. How am I going to take a child with me when my husband
Mhm.
runs his own business? And it's like, there's so much that we sacrifice
Yeah.
to own our business. So just respect it. Like, do it the right way, ladies. Like, you're unhappy, speak about it, separate, go your way, I go my way. But don't do it negative. Like, you're going to do it negative, you're only going to get like the worst of the worst in your freaking karma to come for you.
And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. The people that the clients that they do steal and the clients that do stay with them are literally your D clients, and you don't want those clients anyway. Those are the ones that are
Yeah.
looking for discounts, the cheapest. What do you got for free? Do you have a gift with purchase right now? I only get a Brazilian twice a year. Have them. Have
But
the problems of a business owner.
do you know what's funny? When she left, so many clients stood, and a lot of clients went with her, right? Because this happened, like, I want to say 4 weeks ago. Do you know how many of those clients I serviced last week when I was in Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Did
Yeah.
they not
Tell
like your
us.
kitchen
Tell
Did they
us.
not like your kitchen table? I was like, did you not like her kitchen table? Was she waxing on the dining room? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And they were like, and that's how I found out, because a lot of them were like, her problem wasn't with you. I'm like, but her problem's with the 22-year-old?
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesse's 22 years old. Like, I don't understand. And they're like, she just didn't like that you gave her the weekends off. But I'm like, she has the weekends off. She leaves work Friday at 1 o'clock. She's off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, comes back to work Tuesday. So I was like, make it make sense.
Yeah. It doesn't. And it won't. It's like trying to speak to an alcoholic.
And I'm like,
Right.
I'm like, Jesse's 22,
Mm-hmm.
22 years old, and you're jealous of a 22-year-old?
Yeah.
I
It's
don't get
not.
it. I'm like, you're like 27, a mom of 2-year-old.
Erica, it doesn't matter. I've dealt with women in their and there, people are like, hire older and you'll get more mature people. No, we dealt
No.
with,
Yeah. Do you know how many people?
Yzma.
Dude, so many people are like, if you hire older women, this won't happen. I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
This has, I hired older women and worse things have happened. Like worse
Yes.
things have happened.
Crazy
Yes.
doesn't have an age. Crazy does not have an age. Period.
Dude.
When I had the Vancouver location, trying to get these girls to come back after COVID was impossible.
Oh my God.
Impossible. I mean,
Yeah, that's when I posted a video ranting like you. I was like,
That's right. That's right. I mean, including an older woman that had been with us for several years, a woman that every year we gave her a month off to go back to her home country to visit family. 1 month. That's a lot. And as a full-time lead waxer, kept her job for her every single time, wrote and said, because, Becca was like reaching out to everyone. I had cancer at the time. No one knew but Becca. Becca was reaching out being like, hey, we're opening back up. Like, I've sent an email, I've texted, I've called, you haven't responded. Are you coming back? No response. So I reached out to her on text and I was like, hey, are you coming back to work on Tuesday? She's like, no, I think I'd like to have the summer off. I'll come back after the summer, which is when our government funding was stopping.
Yeah.
yeah, like the stimulus.
And in that moment, I don't know if anyone knows this, but in that moment, I will never forget where I was. I read that text message, and in that moment, I made a decision to sell my business. That was my tipping point. Her fucking text message, that was my deciding factor that I will sell my business by January 31st of this year. And it was sold on January 31st of that year.
I think about it all the time. Like you're playing on my heartstrings because during COVID, a lot of girls, and it's crazy because I was with someone who swore they were like, they made me. To this person, he made me. He made the peach bar, he made me. And I was like, what? So many girls left during COVID and are working for him. And I'm like, wait, what? Well, because he made me, right? And I didn't know what was going on because after COVID, I took the money, paid all these girls, and I was like, let's go on a trip, Tulum. Took all my girls to Tulum. And I noticed certain girls were like being shady with us. And I'm like, what is going on? I had started dating my husband. So I was free from this person for like a whole year. Started dating my husband. I'm like so happy. Like being loved by someone like who truly loves you. Like I feel like I could smell like complete shit. And my husband would be like, oh my God, you're beautiful. Don't worry about it. And being with this person, I was like so happy. And then there was like times where I was like, they were tearing down me and my husband, like, you shouldn't be with him, like, he's not supporting your business or this. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then it came out, they all left the peach bar and started working for him. And I was just like,
what does he do?
He used to sell a towel wax. So I had, so when I first started, I had the peach bar and then I had the bigger location and a towel wax had reached out to me asking me to be a wholesaler for them, which I agreed to. Got a big warehouse in New Jersey, was selling tons and tons of wax. When we separated, I gave him the wax company and I kept the peach bar because at the time it would be too much for me. And he had kids and I didn't want to leave. Like, my husband hates this about me, but loves it about me at the same time. I would give you the shirt off my back, no matter how wrong, because to me, you don't have to treat me right for me to treat you good.
Right.
So I left the business to that person just because they had children, this, that, and the third. I kept the peach bar Tampa, was running both locations, was with my husband, and slowly but surely started poaching people to go work with him in his warehouse, and then started doing like videos about me and diss tracks and all this other stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then to find out that this person, and then this person who just left is now working with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the drama continues. My goodness.
Yes.
pour your tea now, everyone. Okay, this is
Yeah.
insane. But and Erica, like, this sucks completely. I can only imagine that you cry yourself to sleep every night. That's what I would do when I listen to this. But just think about the toxicity that he has with the people that are working for him and what that's
Yeah.
going to look like. Like, that's not going to last. That's not longevity.
That's what I said. Like, dude, like you're just counting your blessings because like people act like it bothers me. So like even this whole situation, like I just looked at me personally and was like, am I a bad person? Then you got like, I'm so blessed for Jessie. Jessie's like my Becca. You get what I mean? Like that's how it is.
She's been there a long time too.
She's been there for a very long time. When I opened Tampa, she ran my Tampa location.
Yeah.
So me and her work very well, and we know how to separate the two. So we know how I could scream at her in the workplace, but she could come to my house and, eat dinner with me and we'll be laughing and joking. And I'm so lucky for her because if it wasn't for her and my husband, I think I would have had a mental breakdown like a long time ago. Like I generally would have. My husband's my husband's weird because he'll turn around and be like, why are you crying for? Man up. Like, what are you doing? Man up. Be tough. Like, who cares about these girls? They're not you. And then you have Jessie like, who cares? Go do a video and cry about it. And if it wasn't for them, like, I think I would have like sold the Peach Bar and broke down like years ago.
But it's hard. It's hard not to care because your business is successful because you care. So when people say to you, and I had this all the time, like, who cares? Who cares what they're doing? Who cares? Well, I care because I'm now dealing with state board that's like ripping through my store, checking to see if my staff are licensed. I went through the same shit, right? I'm now dealing with a crying receptionist because a client came in and screamed that she's been contacted by. I have to care because I live it every day. If they just fucked off and did their thing, I wouldn't care, but it's affecting me.
And people don't understand that point. I just don't understand why women are sitting here, but like, why do you care so much? I don't care. Okay, you want to get a shitty wax? Then I won't care no more. Just give me your $35 and I won't care if you get a shitty wax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's not what makes you and your brand successful.
That is very true. I care too much and it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It is. It is. And, for those of you listening that want to be a business owner, I always say there's so much that happens behind the scenes that you don't know about. And again, Erica, thank you so much for posting that video and coming on here and talking about this, because this is the stuff that people need to know and see if they want to get into business. It is not easy. It is not
always rainbows and butterflies. There is storms that sometimes overshadow what's the good.
Yeah.
So
but you know what? It'll pass. It'll pass, and
this too
those clients will either come back or you don't want them.
It will pass, and then a year later you go through the same thing. It's okay.
Yeah. And Erica, having 2 locations, because girl, I know mine were in 2 different countries, and that text message, that phone call, that SOS, and jumping on a plane and having anxiety in the airport on the flight to like get there and put out a fire, that is real.
Do you know when it first happened, they were like, Erica, we need you. This is what's going on. I booked a flight that night. Now this is like where the anxiety comes in, because I don't know if anyone knows, like the whole aviation system is like to shit. So they're canceling flights, delaying flights. I was supposed to land there Monday night to take all her people on Tuesday. My flight was canceled. I couldn't get back out there till Friday.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Because they shut down the whole like Northeast, like from Tampa to like I think Maine, like everything was shut down. We could not they just shut it down because they said it was like a nor'easter or something like that. So I couldn't get out there till Friday. Like we were looking like Connecticut. Jessie was like, I'll pick you up from Philly. Like it's a 2.5 hour drive, but at least you'll be here. Tried everything. Could not get there till Friday. So now we had to call the people again. Like, yes, we booked you with the owner, but unfortunately her flight was delayed. Sending them screenshots. Like it was just a hot mess.
And people don't care. You can say like, my family member died, the flight was canceled. Like, I was in a car accident. They don't care. Their Brazilian wax is the most important thing of their life that week. It's true.
I laugh because it's so funny. You could literally be like, there's a death in the family, and they'd be like, okay, my family didn't die.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, but
You're still
mine
good
did.
for 2:00?
Yeah,
I got a
literally.
trip coming up. I've got a date tonight.
If they're like, I need a wax, and you're like, okay, well, put me with somebody else. You're like, no, we're by appointment only, and these girls are booked up solid.
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. Move someone else so that I
Yeah.
could get in there. Yeah. It ain't easy, but I love it. I love what I do.
There you go. See, and you just got to keep going back to that, right? You love what
Yeah.
you do.
That's it. I love waxing. I still wax. I wax out here in Tampa. When I go to Jersey, I wax. I train. Something I just love doing. People don't know, like, even when I do the shows for like It's Hot Wax and stuff, I love it so much that I do that for free. Like, It's Hot Wax doesn't pay me. They don't pay for anything. I do that all out of pocket for me just because I
Wow.
genuinely love doing this.
Wow.
Okay, that's insane because those of you who have done a trade show know how much work
Yeah.
it is. So that is insanity, right?
And the
That's
Towel Wax booth is big. Like, their booth is
It's big.
huge.
massive.
It's like 4x4, and you're running back and forth showing the wax and talking about it, and everyone's like, no, test, do an eyebrow, do this, do that, show a class, teach for an hour. And I do it because I generally just love it. I love what I do.
That's amazing. And that's what will keep you in business and keep you going and get you past all this bullshit. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
Just gotta keep feeling it. Gotta feel it. You just gotta
You
stay
do.
on the high. Gotta keep going on the high.
So, last words of advice from everyone based on this podcast. Becca?
I have a question because I think it will turn into advice from
Okay.
you, Erica. At the beginning, you mentioned that when you hear a waxer say the word money, that alarm bells go off in your brain. What do you mean by that? Because for people new to this business, I think they should keep that in mind, that something's fishy.
So once I got into this business, everything was good. Back in the days before COVID, you went to school, you took a written exam, and you went to an actual state board, physically did like an application of a facial, this, down, and third, and they graded you. You got your license in the mail whenever you passed. Now in New Jersey, I don't know if it's all state board, but I know in New Jersey, you have to work for someone for 30 days, get your license signed by them, and that's how you get your license. So for me, owning a business, when I hear people ask, well, do you sign the license? Like, if I work for you for 30 days, do you sign that license? To me, that's like a word that just makes my mind go off, and I interview you for a second time. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We have a contract in place that states that you'll be with us for 12 months. Just because we are helping you get your license. If you fail to do the 12 months, it's a training fee of such and such. And then from there, that's when they're like, oh no, I just want my license signed. Oh no, I'm going to go do something else. So for me, as a business owner, look for those keywords. As a waxer, I say you're not going to learn things in 30 days. Stick with a company for a long time, because there's things that happen that waxers who have been with me for years don't know what to do. Hey, I see shiny skin. Okay, you lifted the skin. She is burned. Just inform her what to do. Hey, she's bleeding. What happened? Oh, looks like you ripped skin here. Do this, do that differently in the room, and that would avoid what happened. So I think as a waxer, stick it out. Like, I know you want to work for yourself, but in the end game, you have so much more knowledge and technique to go further versus you working for someone for 30 days and then leaving them. I think that's my advice.
That's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Becca?
Oh, that was mine. I wanted Erica to talk about that.
Oh, okay. You have any advice for anyone out there?
Oh, my advice would be to continue to share, because I think that's what's important in any industry and just as people. And that's what we do at Bright. And so I know even sometimes you get pushback and negative comments, but I don't think there's any shame in printing a picture of their face and putting it on the bulletin board, you know, go
Nope.
back old school.
Yeah, I'm
I
down.
think because if you hadn't shared that story, we wouldn't be recording this podcast. And like really honestly, I mean it. Like the first thing I said when I saw that video was, "Oh my God, this is like the exact same situation that's happened at Luba's waxing salons over and over and over." And it was so not nice, but it was nice to know that like okay, it's not something we are uniquely doing that's wrong.
Mhm.
And I think it's good to just keep sharing no matter what the people say. I mean, we get feedback all the time at Bright that we should be more professional, and I think I don't think we're doing it wrong because we have so many good relationships in the industry because we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I encourage everyone else out there to do the same because the only way that clients are going to learn what it's like behind closed doors or in this industry and that other estheticians are going to learn is if people fucking talk about it.
Mhm.
And that's my advice.
That is true. I don't think you guys need, I think you guys are perfect the way you are in this industry. Like that's what we need.
We're going
I
to
feel
keep
like
that recording right there.
yeah, I think you guys are. That's what draws people to your booth. That's what draws people to your company is because you're so raw with it. Like you are just who you are. Take it or leave it. Like when you go to the trade shows, you are the booth that everyone runs to.
Mhm.
Everyone. And if
Yeah.
it wasn't for, knowing Luba's story and stuff like that, dude, I tell everyone I back this company because of her story. Because of her story, I went and I got checked out. And then Luba knows, like, I have a scare and I'm going through, like, all this stuff. So it's so hard. And if no one talks about it, no one's going to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Erin?
Erica kind of touched on it, knowing from experience, right? So even though you're talking about estheticians coming in and wanting this after 30 days, and then you re-interview them just because they say these trigger words, right? So the life of a business owner looks a lot different from a service provider. So get the experience you need, understand both parts of the business, live through it a little, see these situations arise because they happen everywhere. And I think until you even have a smidge of an understanding, I don't think it should be taken into consideration because it's going to happen and you need to learn how to navigate these situations. And sometimes no matter how long you've been in business or been waxing or done this, that, and the other, it's never easy and it's hard to navigate these.
For me, I would say for business owners to be honest with their clients and their staff. So come from a place of, you know what? I'm trying to pick a name of someone. I can't pick a name. Allison. Allison didn't show up for her shift today. So I'm sorry, we're going to have to reschedule you. Don't be afraid to have those hard conversations. Shame on her for not showing up. Take the brunt off of you in protecting people. I did that for several years on, oh, well, she's just not feeling well today. No, I can't fucking get a hold of her. She didn't show up today. I can't get a hold of her. We don't know what's going on. This is the best that I can do with you with the information that I have. Be honest with your customers. Take that stress off yourself, off your team that does show up, and let that customer know what that service provider is like. Just saying, fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
That's my whole
That is true.
thing. I was not like that for a long time. COVID put me in an entirely new perspective of I am done protecting you, and I provide you a check, a good place to work, education, training. I am not going to sit there and hold your hand to the extent of that I now need to lie for you because you look like a shitty service provider that you can't even call me and say that you're sick or not showing up or whatever that's going to be. And then the other piece of advice I would say is anyone coming on board that wants to be a business owner, learn everything that you can from that business owner that you're working for, that manager that you're working for, get to know the front end of the business and the back end of the business, and be transparent on what your goals are, because we will help you achieve those goals together, and all women can win in this industry.
Yeah. I think you said it best. We all can there's so many vaginas out there that we shouldn't be
Yes.
fighting over them. We shouldn't be.
Exactly.
There's
Lou, I
so
think
many
your piece of the
vaginas.
pie speech needs to change now.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
That's
just
so
so
good.
many. Yeah.
Oh, Erica, well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and hopefully your story helped other people listening realize that they are not alone. And I think we ended on a good note, coming back to that you love what you do so much that you do it for free sometimes. So I think we're ending on a really positive note there. Where
Yes.
can everybody find you online and see all these amazing videos that we spoke about?
So we have 2 Instagrams. First one is Erica's Peach, that's mine, and then you have Peach Bar WC, which is my Peach Bar locations in all of my stuff, and they're funny little videos there.
Okay, and we'll put that in the show notes as well. And at the trade shows, you might see Erica working at the Ital Wax booth. Sometimes,
Yes.
not all the time, but you'll know when she's there because then they have a line around the booth.
Mhm.
No other time is there a crowd. But if Erica's there, there's a crowd because they want a picture.
That's
Thank
right.
you, thank you, thank you. I love doing it, and I look forward to seeing you guys all soon.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, just